the pockets of his murids, and he had a number of what do they call them? Trust fund bunnies or something like that. And, what? There's trust fund bunnies. I don't know. So there's some expression that people use. Children of trust fund babies. Yeah, something like that. People came to a lot of money with no effort on their own. Thomas Mann and Buddenbrooks, a famous novel of the 1920s, and wrote about this phenomenon, of how money is lost, like somebody makes it and the next person does this with it, and so finally, somebody squanders it, right? So these are usually the squanderers, I remember there was this woman, Diana Firestone, who was, somehow, the third, fourth, or fifth, whatever, in the line of the famous Firestone automobile tire company, who had millions and millions, untold millions of dollars, which she had never raised a finger to raise, but she was somehow in control of all these millions. Well, in any case, they bought a whole town called Elkton or something like that, somewhere up in the northwest, I don't remember where. And among the things that he had gotten was the things that he enjoyed. But he had gotten a different Rolls Royce for every day of the month. He had 30 Rolls Royces. And when he would roll out of the little town that he bought, all of the murids would line up on either side of the road and bow down to him as he rode by in his Rolls Royce. Whoa. So Mike Wallace is determined to say, this guy is a filthy no good, you can imagine what he was going to try to get him to say, right? And, like he was painting him in the most contemptible of terms. And finally he springs the big trap on him. He says, I hear you have 30 Rolls Royces, one for each day of the month, and your followers, they all bow down in front of you as you drive along. And Rajneesh turns to him and he says, oh, I'm just living the American dream. Wouldn't you like to be like that? In truth, Mr. Wallace, isn't that at the heart of your being what you would love more than anything else, to have 30 Rolls Royces and having people bowing down in front of you? And this guy, he turned, I tell you, it was early days of color television, but he turned bright red, because he got caught, because all of a sudden, of course that's what he wanted. Every red-blooded American male would love to have 30 Rolls Royces and a bunch of women bowing down in the road in front of them. Wow, man, that's really, you got it made in the shade for 100%. In the same way, this woman was trying to get Shireen Ebadi to say, Islam is a lousy, no good, blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing, religion, it's despicable, it has no rights for women, it's a horrible thing, and she was pointing her in every way she could to say that. And so, Shireen Ebadi, nobody wins a Nobel Prize in jurisprudence without, being pretty smart, more than pretty smart, very smart. And she knows exactly where this woman is going. And she lets her meander down the path, like this. And then she says, you know what? She says, Islam is perfect. And this woman, her jaw dropped. Like this. Did I hear you correctly? She said, yes. I said, Islam is perfect. Perfect? Perfect? She repeated it like 2-3 times. What? After all I've said, all of this, and you telling me Islam is perfect? She said, yes. She says, Islam is perfect. And she gave that quote, today I perfected my religion for you, and your religion Islam. She says, you know how many Muslims there are in the world? There's 1.6 billion Muslims. They're black, they're white, they're red, they're brown, they're yellow, they're pink, and I suppose you could say there's even white ones. I've hardly ever seen a white person, but they say there's white people. But anyway, because they call me white, but I'm certainly pink, not white, actually. but they make me write white. I always cross it, I say other, because I figure pink is different than white, Anyway, I'm sure that messes up their demographics, no doubt. But then you say pink too? You say other too. Yeah, right. So anyway, she said, Islam came to many, many different kinds of people. Even people from the north, people from the south, people from the east, people from the west, people from the south, all over the world. And all of those people prior to Islam, because Islam came in the year 600 and something, right? It came to all these people, and over time it came to more and more people. It came to you. It came to you all, American people. And you have your culture. It can't be a very old culture, only being a couple hundred years old, but it's a culture called USA, 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 USA. You see that when they have sporting things, These are people, like after 9/11, all the cars had American flags flying on them. So people, they take it seriously, being an American. It's like the best place in the world. It's a democracy, freedom and justice and liberty for all. This is part of the culture of USA, USA. Anyway, for better or for worse. So when you accept Islam, that's part of you. You can't take a knife and, no matter what, if you were a surgeon or what, and cut that out of you. It's part of what you are, part of what I am, part of what we are. So when we accept Islam, we do accept Islam. And we are, a lot of us, 100% accepting Islam. Some of us are less, some of them whatever. But we have this thing inside of ourselves, which is our background. And in the same way, the Chinese people, there were many, many millions of Muslims, of Chinese Muslim people, and there still are. There's African Muslims, there are European Muslims, there are Arab Muslims, there are subcontinental Muslims, all of whom had cultures. What do I mean by culture? Persia is a Muslim country, or we call it Iran today, or Iran, depending if you're of that background, Iran and Iraq, But anyway, Iraq is a culture that's like 4,000 years old. America is like 200 years old, You see how deep it's gotten into us. Imagine what 4,000 years of it gets into somebody. It really gets pretty deep in. So they accepted it. Iraq is a Muslim country, by and large. Iran is a Muslim country, by and large, right? There are minorities, but by and large, like 90%, 95% they are. Egypt. All these places. And so always there is this, accompanying cultural reality behind it. So, but what we say is, Islam is that kind of perfection. So when we look at it, so Allah says it's perfect. Yes, it's perfect, but it is diluted insofar as it's come to these different people, and they have these different backgrounds. And so to the degree, or whatever degree that they have of it, this colors the Islam that they practice by that. Like if you go to Indonesia, right? Many of you have been to Indonesia? You go to a beautiful country, by the way. You go to Indonesia. Indonesia was a Buddhist country, it was a Hindu country, and it became a Muslim country. Not by guns, and not by, these guys that they always show you with blood dripping out of one side of their jaw and big sword like this. It was always curved like that. And blood dripping off the end of it, They're enforcing Sharia, that's what they're always said to be. That didn't ever happen. It was merchants and Sufis who brought Islam to Indonesia, but that's another story. But in any case, the Islam in Indonesia, I have a friend who, he's a linguist and he's a diplomat. And he started out in the 1930s, late 1930s in China, as a diplomat during the war between Japan and China, and the Japanese kept pushing them back, Chinese back, and China is a unique country in that the written language is constant, but the spoken language differs. So that a town 100 miles from another town might have a totally different word for this thing here than the town, other place, in terms of the spoken language. But if you wanted to look at the ideogram for this thing, it would be the same, phone. It would look like something, phone, right? So he learned a lot of languages, and then he studied, after the war he went to Japan, and then he wound up in Malaysia and Indonesia, and he learned languages. And he became a Muslim because of soccer. What? Soccer. Well, we call soccer, it's called football by most of the world. Football. He became a Muslim because of football. How did that happen? Well, there were these really nice guys, and he loved to play football, and he played football with them all the time. But all of a sudden, there would be this, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. And then suddenly they'd stop, and they'd go away. And after a while, they come back again, and they start kicking the ball around again. He said, what are they doing? What's going on with these guys? You know, so he followed them one day, and he found them in the masjid praying, and he sat in the back. And after a while, he became a Muslim, because he said, it was really nice. But I met him when I was working in Saudi Arabia, and he was working in Saudi Arabia, but he told me, just between you and me, he said, I would have never become a Muslim in Saudi Arabia, never. But he said, Indonesia, it was sweet, and the people were sweet. And so I became a Muslim because of those sweet people that I met. So what am I saying here? What I'm trying to say is that Islam, for those of you who travel widely, you will find that everywhere they will offer you tea, just about, and crackers. Islam is a religion of tea and crackers, I'm convinced of that. And sitting on the floor and eating them and talking and so on, then getting up and praying and so on and so forth. That's constant, right? But the way it is always a little bit, it's different. Like tea and crackers in Central Asia are not the same as, well, the tea, I tell you, the tea in Central Asia is not the same as the tea in Senegal. I tell you, if you drink 1 cup of tea in Senegal, I guarantee you, you'll be up for 14 hours without stopping. It's like, condensed tea, but still you're drinking tea. Tea is tea, right? No, okay. Right? So you could say that there is a constancy towards it, but it's different in different places. It's a different thing. But accepting all of that, and accepting that colonialism is gone, because we could always talk about colonialism being a problem. It's those British, it's those French, it's those Germans, it's those Americans, it's whatever it is. Now, all the way from Senegal to Indonesia, it's all Muslim rulers, kings and dictators and soldiers and whatever like that. And there is a problem. There is a problem. And that problem needs a solution. And we Sufi people are the answer to the problem. And they may call us dogs or Rafid, they may call us people of Bidah, they may have all kinds of names for us because they know. Just like the Islamophobes know that Islam is coming. And there's nothing they can do about it. That is, America will be a Muslim nation sooner or later. They know that. And it upsets them. And I can understand that. And so they carry on. But what kind of nation will it be? What kind of Islam are we talking about? So this kind of Islam that you have partaken of, and your teacher is up through Sheikh Muhammad and Sheikh Tilman Sani and on and Sheikh Darqawi and on up like that, coming to Sidna Ali, from Sidna Ali to Sidna Muhammad. This is the line of our teaching. This is who we are. We are the school of Ali, alayhi-s-salaam, whether it has nothing to do with Sunni or Shi'i, that's other political stories, right? And on the flag of our school, is as on the flag of Nizami, is with love for all and hatred for none. This is the solution. Love for all and malice towards none. This is the sunnah, as I told you, of the Rasul. Ma arsalnaka illa rahmatil lil alameen. I have not sent you save as a mercy to all people. We must be the mercy. Because, why? Not because we are the mercy, we are what we are, but because we've taken the time to clean out this little room inside of us, where this little light has come to dwell, and it shines out from us, and that people are touched by it, and having been touched by it, it's a long process. Yes, we're waiting. We're waiting for Isa, we're waiting for Mahdi, but we're not going to wait. Because every day we have the opportunity. That's why I say the checkout clerk. Everybody deals with the checkout clerk in America. Everybody. Be nice to them. Give them love. Because they will feel that love. And when they see that thing on your head, ladies especially, and I say this, the ladies are, I would say, like almost 100% better than the men. I salute the women of Islam. They have no, they're not hiding. Most of the men in Islam hide. They wear these little shirts with this like that. You know, you can't do that. You have to wear a long, because this is your aura. You're told to hide your aura. They don't hide. They expect their women to put something on their heads, but the men don't. So I salute the women, because I think they're better Muslims than the men, by and large. They're braver. They're braver. Men are involved in passing and getting by, and pretending, you know, they don't even wear that little thing on their head. They, you know, take that thing off their head, put on the tie, put on the suit. Yeah, you can't tell them, you know, they're all the same, right? Like that. But when you wear that thing on your head, they know who you are. You better believe it. And I say the women are very brave, and I salute them for that, for being so brave. But when you are at the checkout counter and they know, oh, that's a Muslim, but I thought they were like horrible people and like that. Well, they're kind of nice. This is how the world has changed. So change yourself and work for the change of other human beings by giving them love, because as I say, love is essentially communicative. Love all, serve all, love for all, malice towards none. That's the Sufi way. Take this way. Keep on this way, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen ar-Rahman ar-Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihdina sirata al-mustaqim. Sirata alladhina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim wa la ddallin. Ameen. You can find in these books like who, what, why, when, and where, and what, and how, and so on, so not how yet, not how. You can find in them long discussions of what I'm talking about. I just try, because time is limited, I just try to give you the gist of what I'm talking about. But if you're really interested in more about it, you can find it in those publications, inshallah. On the website like that, yes, indeed. And they're cheap. We try to make them inexpensive, affordable. And so forth. Alhamdulillah.
Thank you.